Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus, and as usual with me on the show is my colleague.
Hi and good evening, everyone. Welcome. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus, bringing you 5.8G Alive. How is everyone?
Carry-on. Trinidad and Tobago. This week again, we're celebrating. So on Wednesday,
August is our month.
So in between, as you said, we started with emancipation, we ended with independence. And in between, guess what? We celebrated the World Steel Band because steel band is our instrument.
Yep.
So, Ariane, I know you love the steel band also. And you went to participate in that whole festivities where I think they had it down at, was Woodford Square?
Woodford Square. And definitely next week, hopefully we'll have some clips of the adventures and you'll get some more information about it. But I do know that last year it was a wonderful, it's so amazing. The only acoustic instrument invented in the 20th century, the last one invented in this island, and now is represented all over the world, from the most sophisticated concert halls to pan knocking on the house, in schools, in churches, mosque mandirs, everywhere.
Yes.
Great
music, So we still, as you said, celebrating, and we'll talk later in the show again about how we celebrating independence.
Yeah. And Jennifer, you see, as we celebrate World Steel Band Day, one of the things that I really I feel proudest about is how the steel band as an instrument, and the steel band as a movement, and the panyard as a location to represent community, and pan how it has spawned an outlet for creativity for people and for careers. We have panists that are professors at tertiary education institutions around the world. We have so many young people who earn a living with their steel pans. And the other day, Joshua Horguello got himself into the Guinness Book of Records, playing for 31 hours straight. So I think there's a lot. Red, white, and black is really, this is our month. I think so.
And I love the way Bermuda's created the design of the steel band for their crypt, the tin. That's lovely. It's really nice. They're now in the groceries, and I found that is a very, very, great idea. So you actually in there in the shape of a pan, and tells so much about our history.
Yeah, because remember one of the original acoustic instruments that accompanied the tambu bamboo, which was the precursor to the pan, was that Crixton bit, the tin, the aluminium square tin, that Crix pan, the penny devil pan.
Yes.
So it was nice that they brought it back modernized to really represent their connection, and that again, a homegrown business that has survived. I mean, it's Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, the rest of the Caribbean and the world you're listening, we home, all right? There's so much for us to celebrate. So yes, that is really true. And we will do our own thing, but we talk about that later. So Jennifer, what has been happening? What has been on your mind? We had such a beautiful show last week. We need to really thank Richard and to wish Richard a happy belated birthday again. His birthday was on the 10th yesterday, the day before. Yes, on Sunday. So what has been going on? What has been on your mind?
For me, what has been going on really, I find myself, Terry, I'm doing a lot of introspection. My journey, I'm on a journey of really releasing all the I would say negatives that come up within me at any time, all the fears or anxiety. By the way, I'm doing very good with that. So, and I had a situation that occurred this week, and I thought I handled it very well, and it had me thinking how many people within our age group, within my age group, the 70 plus,
Well, your subgroup of our cohort, because remember, we have 3 subgroups. So is it 50 to 60, 60 to 70, 70 to 80?
I should include everyone here, the 50 plus. How they handle certain situations, especially situations that may, happen unexpectedly, and you have to make certain decisions. And so that brought me thinking that, maybe some of us in situations where we feel can't handle it just happen upon us, that we should have someone advocating for us instead of just sitting back and feeling stuck or feeling frustrated, So that has been, on my mind, just thought that I would really like to, if we could discuss that.
Jennifer, if you don't mind, I think it would be good for people to understand what was the situation that you faced that caused you to...
I am open to that. I think with doing that, they may, more appreciate.
Yeah, because someone looking at us may not know the context that you're talking about.
Okay. So we can discuss it. So let's get into where we could really talk about advocacy and my thinking on it. Terry, you asked me to, share, and let me share. I have been for the last 3 weeks, doing radiation treatment. As for those who don't know, you remember I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had surgery, etc. And there's the process. There's part of the entire healing process. And so it's going very good. And then they had to have a break with the treatment because of a situation that occurred with the machine.
The machine break down. I think that's an important detail.
I think the full details. But what it did do,
not the hospital's machine. Let's be clear. Not the hospital's machine. Let's be clear.
You see how terrible and very controversial, right? But I looked at it, Terry, and I am saying, okay. At the time, I had to really know that, hey, you can't afford to be anxious. you have to think, you have to keep on this positive note, etc. And so it caused me to really sit, reflect, and make decision, okay, forward. And in doing that, I had to look at, steps. What steps am I going to take? Should I call to follow up? What should I do? And Terry-Ann, I'm very proud of the steps I took in terms of one, not panicking, two, making sure I have faith in God that, hey, this is all right, I am okay. And then look at what, I need to get information, because with the correct information from the source, it will help me in terms of my decision making. So I did that. I got the information. I made sure I went to not just information, but information from the professional, etc. And that helped me in terms of saying, yeah, okay, cool yourself, relax. You're going to start again and everything is all right. But having said that, I taught Terry-Ann of others who in this similar situation as I am, and how they may have been handling, how they may have lost still handling, because it's an ongoing situation, that news. And in doing that, I said, if they don't have anybody, if they don't have the capabilities or the communication skills or the energy, I should say, to make that call or to make that visit and to get all the information, then it means that they may just be sitting back very scared, very anxious, about their situation. And that brought me thinking about having, having someone to advocate for you in situations. And how many of us in our cohort, the 50 to 80 generation, rely on or call on a friend, a family member, experienced person to advocate for us when we feel that we are stuck and not, can't do anything about it, Mm-hmm. So that came to mind. And that's why I would like us to just, share the thoughts on that. So I pass it on to you to hear your views on that.
People hear the word advocacy. In fact, I absolutely agree with you. They hear the word advocacy, they hear advocate, and people think, oh gosh, it's a big thing. Oh gosh, I have to get somebody, or have to go somewhere and find something and pay. And I think in life, because we live in community and because we live with each other, we are meant to be advocates for each other, to support us along the way. We are meant to be. And advocacy is so fundamental to success. And when we see people who just can't seem to get it right, a lot of people say, but how he didn't know that? But how she didn't know that? Unjust. It's not unjust. You don't know. And unless there is someone who shows interest or who is interested, and whether that interest comes from love, family, interest because your condition could contaminate the environment, we have always advocated for each other. We don't call it that, but advocacy is real, it is critical, and it saves lives, And I think, Jennifer, what we do here is also advocacy. Advocacy for our age group, the 3 phases, because as we keep saying, you're in one decade, I'm in another decade, and we or both try to remember the first decade, because we look at the 50 to 60, the 60 to 70, and the 70 to 80s. And advocacy is real. It's just that people don't realize, they don't put a name, they don't label it. They don't label it. But Jennifer, I will have to tell you that one of the things that you represented in this episode is what I consider the foundation of self-help, getting help, which is you must first be your own advocate. And you have to be willing to ask a question and be concerned when something is not right. And if you're not getting information, stand up and put up your hand and say, I have a question. But Jennifer, a lot of us, that's a frightening thing to advocate for ourselves.
It is. And I would say, first, to be comfortable about asking a question and to be comfortable about doing that inquiry, you have to read, Terry-Ann. You need to read up. I didn't just go to the doctor to say, well, so and so happened. And no, you know, I read more. I read the literature that was given to me prior to the start of the treatment. Then I went and not just Google anyhow. I looked, read the research that was done, proper research, on the topic and etc. And then I felt comfortable after that. Of course, I called. I had conversation with two doctors who are friends of mine who I felt to have more knowledge and could give me a better explanation of the situation. So with that, I was very confident in terms of how I move forward and the questions to ask and all that. So I would say, yes, there are many people. And what I know too, Terry-Ann, depending, you are more comfortable with subjects that you have the experience, it may be work experience or within your environment, you know more about that particular topic area or aspect of life. So if it's a situation where you think you have been handling all right, well, yes, you may feel you don't need anybody to give you the support, or you may not need as much support in that area. But areas where you're not too familiar with, yes, I know many would be a bit scared and feel stuck and don't know where to turn. And I think to do something, to take action, you should really get knowledge. You have to start, and you will say, start with self. You have to, find out all that you can, and then from there you could feel more confident when you asking the question and going out there to make inquiry or to decide who would be the best person that could go out there and give you the support you need and advocate for you, So, yeah, that's a start. Yeah. I know it may not be a perfect situation, but we have to decide that, yes, take responsibility for our future.
Yeah. And Jennifer, I will take your position, your normal position, because that sounds like a Terrian answer to me. Because you say they have to go and research, Google. You have 2 doctors that you're fine to talk to. You demonstrated what a strong network that you have that allows self-advocacy to step forward, because within your network, you had the expertise that was familiar. So there would be no intimidation to ask. But I think a lot of people and a lot in our cohorts, especially getting up when you've separated from the past world of work and the contacts not as strong, and you're in a situation that you do not know and you do not know anyone, the degrees of separation between you and experts is more than 6, it's 10 or 15. And I think sometimes we forget that, there's a theory, there's 6 degrees of separation between you and what you don't know. We forget that it is a scale of degrees. And while between you and the knowledge you need, there might be 20 degrees of separation. Between you and someone you know, there's 1. And that person may have a closer connection to experts who can get more information. Simply being able to type in the right question into Google is a skill. But I think sometimes we get so scared or afraid or ashamed or so many reasons that we sit down and decide there is no one to talk to, no one can help me. And I think that's when we miss the first base of advocacy, which is self-advocacy, which is the interest in yourself. So even if it's the neighbor who you think is as unaware as you, we first must express our issue and ask people in our environment. If we don't have access to Google or experts, we must be brave enough to ask people in our environment, look, I feel this is what's going on with me. What do you think? And I think that is the first step that a lot of us are very afraid to expose that facade. We talk about the facade.
That's just it, because you feel you become very self-conscious when you don't have that knowledge, and that's how we become. And this is what we have to let go of. I hear you, and I agree. Not everyone has that resource and the type of connections to maybe call or be in touch with the right person to give information. But Terry-Ann, in addition to that, when it's the first, as you say, is yourself, but then go direct to the source. And it don't have to be to Google it. So it's a medical situation and it happens at the hospital, the private clinics, wherever. Then go to the source and ask questions. We have to realize that it's our right to do that. And sometimes we stop ourselves because we start thinking maybe you wouldn't get the right answer, they wouldn't see you, you're wasting your time. And we put a lot of blocks even before we get out there. And so we start with a negative headspace. And if we really think of this situation and clearly itemize what are our concerns in whatever situation, it will help. Because in itemizing the concerns, my concern one is your first thing, say, oh gosh, if you don't get this treatment within a certain time, then you're going to drop down the next day, that sort of thing. Or it could get your situation worse. And then, so if it is about health, you tend to start with the panic, and the only way to deal with the situation is and if you don't have the ability or the capability to do the type of research, or you don't have that friend who you could call on who may have the expertise, then an next suggestion is go to the source. And they have a lot of a lot of information we can access free from reliable, and I say reliable sources, whether it's they have the different ministries, which would have information on the different areas. If you want service, you have you can check out the professionals in the various, whatever it is that your concerns, your concerns may be, you know. Um, so that's a way of starting. As you see, you may not, and it has been happening, Terry, in certain situations. But we tend, I would say, is how we approach it. Is how we approach it. We may be very flippant when we ask a question because we don't want that person be aware it might be we are the ones at that situation. So you may not go in depth when you ask the question. And if you do it like that, if you approach it in that way, well, then obviously you wouldn't get the truth, you know? So yeah, we should look at how we approaching. Um, you think before you act, basically. You think before we act, and we decide. We are the ones to decide who we want to, who we want to act on our trust to do it.
Yeah. I think also you may be really certain places here because professionals come at a cost, Jennifer. Professionals come at a cost. But I think a lot of people don't realize how much information is available from professionals who are sitting in offices waiting for you to walk in and ask a question. And I am talking about health professionals in your health center. I'm talking about the principal in a school. I am talking about if you walk into any national insurance office, there are if you walk into any social welfare department in Trinidad and Tobago, there are, I mean, you don't have access to the internet. You can't do any of that. You don't know how to ask a question of internet. And I'm not talking about people who are uneducated. I'm talking about people who don't know. They can have doctorates and they can have whatever it is. You just don't know. There are so many places that you can confidentially go to get your questions answered. I mean, the police station, you'll be amazed how interconnected they are to point you. Your health center, your social welfare department, a hospital. But, I always come back to the thing that stops you is whatever is going on in your head that tells you that, as you said, I won't get help. They will say this about me, or they will say that about me. And many of us wait until as they say, water more than flour to act. When if we didn't allow ourselves to pay attention to those noises in your head, you could have gotten information to go to the next step. Government offices, all that I call, there's a ton of information on any issue imaginable that you can walk in anonymously and there will be a person at the desk waiting to answer your question. You'll probably get the most basic information, but at least you'll be pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a start. And we also have to be aware that especially if you go into it's public, you're going to the public institutions for the information, that there would be a waiting period too. You don't expect to walk in and you get them to respond to you immediately. You may have to be in a line, you may have to take a number, you know, and that is how it, you know, that's the procedure. And you should really be prepare yourself in terms of what are you going to ask. You can't wait until you reach in front that customer service person to ask the question and you're fumbling, not sure what you're going to ask. You know, and if they ask you what it's about, what you want to help with, etc., that you can't answer. You know, so yeah, if you prepare yourself and it's a deep concern, you need to do something about it. And obviously, if you feel you're not capable and you're being intimidated by whatever the situation is, you don't want to, as they say, you don't want to show your face. Um, you really need to decide who you can trust, who you know with the expertise, or ask a friend to point you out or recommend you to. You're not looking, if you have the money, you have the money, you let them know up front. So they will have to direct you to where a free service. But you need to have somebody who would take that action on your behalf. I say need to, because if you don't, you just make your own situation worse. And, you know, we all here talk about your wellness. We want everyone to really enjoy the best of health, to, you know, to be able to deal with your situation and to live that life that they want to live. So if you don't take action, then clearly it means you just happy being stuck.
You're happy with your status quo. I wouldn't necessarily say stuck. I think there are some people who are happy in a little bit of chaos.
Technology. Okay.
You know, to you they might look stuck, but I think the most important thing is really, and especially for us as we get older and our networks fall away, whether friends die, contacts are weakened, children grow and have their own priorities, and we don't want to burden anybody. I think it is very, very important for us to be aware of the places that we can get. Oh, and there's also legal aid. I forgot legal aid. Yes, places that we can walk in and get information to at least turn us in the right direction so that we aren't burdened by life issues and feel that we have no way out. That's not necessary. And I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, Terry, and I also want to highlight the fact that, you know, I hear, especially when you go, like if it's this attend a funeral, you know, these days, I say attending a lot of funerals, even if it's online. And, you know, after, you know, my friend might say something like, or, you know, this person you say, if especially if it's a close relative, maybe their mother or someone they grew up with very close, and they'll say, you know, they used to help me all the time when I have this situation. They are the one person I would go to who I could trust. So what would I do now? I can't do this again. Or you may hear those who may have had their children at home helping out and then they move out and they're on their own. And they will say, you know, my son or my daughter not around again. So they used to do it. I don't know how to handle that. Or my husband is the one or my spouse is the one will take care of a situation and they're not able again, whether they have passed on, whether they through illness, they're just not capable. And you hear it talk, well, I don't know what I will do, you know, because that person not around, you know. And you tend to say, well, okay, I'll leave that alone because I don't want anybody else, you know, come to do it. So we should be aware that we have to know when to let go. We have to know when to say, well, okay, I have to move on differently, or I need to trust someone else, or go learn to take action, take responsibility and say, now this is what I have to do. And let me see, maybe if I have to get all the information I can from the same people who used to do it, if they're still alive, and for me to now do it,
I want to recommend strongly that people take that last step. Learn to do something, even if it is learn to ask questions. Because Jennifer, when we've lived our lives depending, or when we allow someone to take control of a certain part of our lives to the extent that we don't know how to handle it if that person is absent. If we cede a part of our lives to someone for years, it is very unlikely that after that person leaves the seed, anybody taking up that burden in total, so that you could just sit back and have that service brought to you unpaid as the person did it, and usually that person is a spouse or a child or someone who is very, very close to you. So we have to, Jennifer Rouse said it, and I always remember, remain curious and be lifelong learners. Because if there's some part of your life that someone is in total control of, if you don't know how to renew your driver's license, if you don't know how to do grocery shopping, if you don't know how to pay a light bill online, if you don't know how to use online banking, if you don't know how to make a payment to somebody, if you don't know how to go in the bank and fill out a form because somebody does it, then before you get to the stage where you are left in the lurch, learn to do stuff for yourself. Even if you might have to do it, at least you will have the knowledge. And even if when the time comes you forget, at least you might remember the first step, where the bank is or where the form is or something like that. But again, it comes back to, are you enough of an advocate for yourself that you care enough of what will happen to you if you're in a pinch? And if you're in a pinch, can you get yourself at least partway out? Can you get your head above water so you could at least call for help? And I think it's most distressing when our cohort is so unaware of an aspect of their life that if somebody moves away, they become helpless and they don't know how to ask for help. I think that's dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And I think that's what you demonstrated with your situation,
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's not time for us to just sit back, and my mother used to say, you can't sit back and throw your hands in the air. That wouldn't get you anywhere. So yeah.
Definitely. So I love this session on advocacy. I hope we understand and appreciate the need to be advocates for self. We at Connections 50 Plus definitely are advocates for our cohort. That is the 50 to 60, the 60 to 70, the 70 to 80, 5.8G, for us being empowered and living vibrant lives. So we hope you feel the same for yourself. Great. Nice. Jennifer, that was a great segue. And just as we have to take care of ourselves, we said we have to also take care of our community. So we know we have a community stuff happening soon. So let's get back into Tribe and talk about it. Nice. Jennifer, it's almost time. It's two weeks, 2 weeks. And the excitement is building. How you feel?
But actually, what I have been doing for the last few days, really, especially if I should say over the weekend, is just touching base with, a lot of our supporters who will normally come to the event and just sending them a little reminder. And the response has been very, very good. So I'm all excited because I am looking forward. One, when I look at that curated tea box, what's going to be in it. And I think, wow, they're going to be so surprised when they open that box,
Yep.
And look at that. I'm all excited again. I love fashion and style, right? So I start looking, okay, what outfit what I putting on? I read this, or, what my outfit will look like. Um, and I just like, it relaxes me, I just flip in to look at that. I not buy anything, but at least looking to see how best to combine, what I already have in my cupboard. And, so I talk to friends who come in and they're saying, oh gosh, we're not sure what to wear. And I'm just discussing that. So that's really, I'm all excited. I am looking forward for a great, great show by Richard, because I mean Richard is so experienced, and I think, if I may say, he's the best we have in Tobago and the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to what you'll put together, and you're going to be chatting with us about not just this style and our fashion preference, but also in terms of skincare, etc. So it's a lot for everyone to look forward to on that.
Yeah. No, we have to remember Sunday, the 24th of August, we Connections 50 Plus are doing independence. We're showing our independent style at the Young Guild in the shops of Maraval. And Jennifer, what I really like, again, that I'm interested in is whenever I have a chance to just express myself as I feel. This is an independence holiday, and I just want to see how well I can express my Trinidadianness. What does it mean to me to be Trinidadian? And how do I express that using style? That's what this thing means to me. So it is, how do I put together a look, an attitude? How do I accessorize it that represents me and says, this is a Trini and this is me? And of course, the palette is red, white, and black. Any combination in solo or whatever it is. The food is also going to be red, white, and black, representing our Trinidadianness. So I am excited. And if you want to get a sense of who is our caterer, just go to Simply CC TT and you will get a sense of how creative Cyan Caruth is in terms of presenting and representing. So, it's really independence with style. And who am I as a Trini?
Enjoy yourself, bring along a friend. We supposed to have a photo booth, and we having a photo booth that they can at least, when you dress up nice, you stand up and you pose. And
there
you
are
get your
mirrors. And if you're afraid of mirrors, because we have to stand up in front of the mirror and pose.
And pose, yes.
Bring out our creativity in the best way. But Jennifer, I think another reason that it's important for us and why we at Connections, remember, part of our thing is being in a tribe. We must come together, bring our people together so that we can laugh together, talk together, share experiences together, tell our stories, because that is such an important part of, we talked in the first part of resilience and advocacy. Through our tete-a-tete, so much is exchanged, information can be learned. So I am excited whenever the tribe comes together. And we certainly will do that on Sunday, the 24th.
I must, as they say, give a shout out to our Gael followers. So this, was doing a bit of shopping, if I may say so, and met one of our followers and supporters and friend, I would say. And she was saying, of course, she's following the show, she's enjoying the show, and say, well, how am I to become a member? And we say, no, you just be part of the tribe. You don't have to become any member. You don't have to fill out any form. You don't have to pay anything, no fee or anything. You just become a tribe. And to be one of us, all you do is follow us. Follow us on a show. You follow our show on Gael. For those who, if you miss it on Gael, you always can go to our YouTube channel. And you see all the shows, all the past shows. You can just click on whichever one, and at your own timing, you can sit, relax, and enjoy. So yes, Gael followers, you don't have to be any member, and to come to our show, our event, all you do is make a call. That's all. You make a call. You let us know. You want us to book your space. We send you the payment method, and that's it. And on that day, together and just have fun together and be a tribe. So, Gael.
Just so you know, Gael people, go and get your piece of paper. You have 10 seconds to go and get your piece of paper. So if you want to call Terry Ann, that's me, you're calling 682-9202. And Jennifer, what they call if they're talking to you?
Hey, Jennifer, 685-8834. Or you could just WhatsApp us. If you can make that call, send a WhatsApp, and we definitely will be in touch and give you all the information, because we want you to be there with us. Okay.
Definitely. No, it's important to reach out to the Gael group. And there's one person, we talked about shyness and so on. We have a follower, Jennifer. I'm not going to call her name, but she knows who her initials are. MR. And she said she's so shy. She gave me the best compliment. She gave us the best compliment. She said she looks at us and she thinks we are so brave. We are so inspiring. She doesn't miss it. And she and two friends are coming to the tea party. So she wanted to make sure she was there. She is a creative. And she just can't understand how we just express so easily. Yeah. But I make that point to say, for those who may not be brave enough to express, this is why it's important for us to get together, as we are doing at the Young Girl on the 24th of August. We're coming together, expressing our style and having a beautiful box and tea and drinks, non-alcoholic, music, and fun. And Richard is going to be giving tips on style. And somebody asked me, he will teach me how to walk. I find my posture not good. Yes, there will be a runway. There will be a runway. So that's why we have to have our own style. I think it's going to be a fantastic evening that really, really gets to the heart of what a great thing it is to be part of this 5.8G generation. And Jennifer, let me ask you, when we say 5.8G generation, what does that mean to you? Because sometimes people are not sure. Who are you all dealing with?
Sure, the same reason they may ask if they have to be a member. 50 to 80 generation. We are, and 50 to 80, the G is for generation, by the way. So it's 50, people 50, the 50 to 80 generation. And that means we are covering all the different stages on the third act stage. We are all on the third act stage, and we know we have, so the 50 to 60, you may still be in the workplace, a different stage in your life, but yes, you're now on the third act stage. Those 60 plus could still be in the workplace, also have their own business, etc. And right through. But we are catering, we are accommodating, we are doing all that we can to ensure that this cohort going to be really enjoying the stage of life they're in.
Yeah, yeah. And this show is classic for that, because you would realize that whereas in our 5.8 G Alive, that's our magazine show that you're looking at now, because we know that you recently started seeing our reels and we are having new audiences and people asking the questions. So, we deal with the 3 subgroups, but we also look at 3 critical areas of life. We're in tune, looking at where our mind and body is. We deal with the tribe where we get together, and that's like the story. And then we also sit down and deal with the all important money business, being dollar savvy. So listen, let's get together. If this is the first time that you are seeing us on a reel, or you are tuning in on Gaia, or you found us on YouTube or Facebook, just give the call. The numbers are on the screen, and let's start a conversation. Let's get together and line, because I consider this story a real nice line where we get together and we are edutained by On Style by the great Richard Young. Come out and do your best in red, white, and black. Unique. But I am looking forward to it. I always look forward to having fun with our cohort. Definitely. So, what else are we up to, Jennifer?
Well, it's all about, I want to stay here. And that's where Sarah mentioned we are connections 50 plus. And it's important for us to remain connected. So when you tell us, we give the numbers and you give us a call, to stay connected like that. And we have the events. The events are, really a way for us to meet in person. The shows we have, what you're watching us right now, and we're staying connected to you, but not in person, right? But you know who we are. So we would love you to come out, know us better, let us know, let us hear from you. What you enjoy or what you would like to see, or what topics again you want us to discuss. So I'm good.
Definitely. So before we go again, we want to remind you on the 24th of August, Sunday, the 24th of August, we are celebrating Independence in Style, Connections 50 Plus. We are expressing our independence through style. And it's all going to be at the Young Guild at the Shops of Maraval from 2 in the afternoon till 6. Richard Young is going to be talking everything to do with style, fashion, skin, exercise, food, whatever. And we parade in our own style too. So definitely come out and let's have a great time. Let's get to know each other. And Jennifer, I want us to do one other thing here. As I said before, people admire us because they see us every week doing this show, and they think, oh, they're brave, they're exciting. Well, we keep up with all the digital platforms and so on, and you would have been seeing now that we are producing our reels, which would be snippets out of our shows that we will be peppering across all social media platforms. And soon, Jennifer, we are going to be on the people's TikTok. we are going to be on LinkedIn. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, but we're definitely going to be on all platforms. So we look forward to getting your feedback. Jennifer, what do you think about the reel so far?
Great, great. I just love, I feel, let me say, rejuvenated. I feel very good to be, you know, in tune, let me use in tune with what is happening around us with all the modern technology and how we can reach you all because Terian, we are doing this because we love people. We love being able to help, as we say, our cohort. It's all about ensuring about your well-being, your independence, you're being able to live the life that you enjoy. And we want you to be on the journey with us. So we really have been exploring ways where we could touch base, remain connected with you. And if you're not on one platform, maybe your children or your grands would be on it, and they could show it to you. So yes, we are ensuring that we connect with you in all ways because we really, really need to be happy, to be healthy, and to live the life that you want on the third act stage. Yeah.
Definitely. And we also know that it's not always possible every week to put an hour to sit down and take in the entire show. So we are really hoping that through the reels, you see a bit on it, so you get the sense of it. So I know I have 3 friends who sit down and they binge watch. They will sit down one night for and take in 4 shows at once. So with the reels, we hope you don't miss the highlights and you don't miss the nuggets. And this is how we build our tribe. As Jennifer said, there's no membership. You just need to stay tuned and we become members when we get together in an event. So I am excited. So we on to reeling now.
I want to say when you go, remember, when you have that time and you sit to watch the entire show, please subscribe. And again, I want to remind people, clicking that subscribe button doesn't mean you don't have to pay anything at all. It is just mean when you subscribe, you will get reminders from us, and when you click, you could watch any of the shows at any time. So I want to remind those who maybe still scared to click that subscribe button. Please don't have any fear. Just click.
Yeah. And also, if you are very interested in our content, your clicking that like and subscribe button helps the algorithm. We talk about this algorithm. It helps the algorithm to push our content out further so that more people will be made aware of what we're doing. So that's a good way for you to be in the tribe. Click like and subscribe.
Yeah.
So this has been a great, great day, Jennifer. I think we had 2 main themes. I mean, what do we need to remind our people about advocacy?
To remind them about, you need to take action. Don't be afraid. If it is a situation you're in and you believe you don't have the capabilities, you should first, check out, lay your concerns, talk to yourself, go within, find out what are really your concerns and why you believe that you may not be able to handle it. And the next step is seek help. If you can't afford paying for a professional to help you, then you can use the public. So there, Terian had outlined the different ministries and
social welfare, NIB, the police, the health center, all of those places.
Yeah. Yep. Ask a friend to recommend. Recommend someone who may be able to help you or direct you, without a cost.
Jennifer, we forgot the church. Whether it's your mosque, mandir, church, temple, walk in. someone will be able to guide you.
Find someone you can trust. But my thing is, don't just sit back and do nothing. It would not help the situation, and it could put you even in a worse situation. And we have our well-being, our health, our mental health is critical at this stage. Well, at any stage, but we should be aware that you don't want to be suffering unnecessarily. Let me put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And we also talked about community. And our community, our tribe is getting together for Independence with Style on the 24th of August at the Shops of Maraval, the Young Guild. So don't miss that tea party. And we're going to play the ad for you now as we say goodbye. All the details are there. So give us a call. Take care. Love yourself. Okay, bye. See you on Sunday the 24th.
Hi friends, Connections 50 Plus invites you to Independence in Style, a red, white and black soiree. Relax and have fun celebrating Trinidad and Tobago's independence with style and flair. It's on Sunday the 24th of August from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Young Guild, Shops of Maraval. Enjoy a curated tea box with your choice of teas and cold beverages. Be entertained with music, games, and an interactive fashion show featuring renowned stylist Richard Young. Come dress in your finest red, white, and black combo. Cost is only $3.75. Space is limited, so book early. Call Jennifer at 685-8834 or Terry-Ann at 682-9202. Let's sip, style, and celebrate our independence. See you there.
50 Plus Tribe, and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.